go through some of the crux of some of the things that have been said that I've seen in the comments and people are saying, and nobody is asking people. If nobody, see, we're not telling people that stuff that you talk about won't work. And we're not demanding of people the same thing that was demanded of Yvette and Antonio. What is your solution? You got no face over here talking on YouTube saying that won't work. There are 9 states where you can't do Democratic down ballot. Well, what is your solution? And are you going to come from behind the Wizard of Oz curtain and tell it to us? Are you going to do that? I have no problem with documentaries. I know I'm going on a speech right now, but I don't care. I have no problem with documentaries. Antonio and I are working on something right now. We'll see how it goes. And we didn't have to do a $200,000 Kickstarter from you to do it. We didn't do that. And we'll see how it goes. But we understand that political education is one part of it. Eventually, this train got to move somewhere. Eventually, this train got to go somewhere. Eventually, you have to have a destination. We can't have it all. We can't be 20 years in and still doing documentaries. We can't be 20 years in and still be doing Hidden Colors 45. What are we going to do? If you don't like the way we're doing it, that's fine. We can have a conversation. Everybody can have a conversation. We have always been open to criticism. I am open to criticism. Antonio's open to criticism. But we have to talk about what black power looks like. It don't look like you sitting around telling everybody, don't be scared. Y'all got to not be scared. While you live good. That's not what it looks like. It's easy to say that when you're well off. Or when Black America has given you something to make you well off. It's easy to say that. I want to know what your solution is. Because if the only thing that you're doing is getting black people upset and mad, and you're not giving them any way to constructively deal with that anger, even if you're not giving them any way, and it's fine to start with, education is imperative, so it's fine to start with whatever you start with. But after a while, you have to move in a certain direction. Okay, what can we do? Now, I'm going to talk about why some things that look like a solution, and I'll get back to it, but I want to start off and talk about why some things that look like a solution aren't a solution. So one of the things you have people say all the time, and some of our people love to say it, is, well, it's a revolution. And the only reason it's not is because y'all is just scared out here. And we ready to take it. You're ready to take it where? Because I want anybody who hasn't watched this, I think it first aired in 2014. I watched it when it aired. America ain't playing games. See, the thing is, we have to understand timing, right? There was a time where one thing worked that don't work. There was a time when the French revolted, the French Revolution. There was an American Revolution. Right now we have what's called a surveillance state. Well, what does that mean, Yvette? What is a surveillance state? Well, what does that? I know some of you know, because we have the most educated and well-read people, I think, in black politics, bar none. But I want to talk a little bit about, and this was under the Bush and Obama administrations, to be fair. But I'm not talking about rightness or wrongness. I'm talking about right now what that looks like in terms of what you planning on doing and what you always in the comments talking about you gonna do. So let's talk about it. NSA collecting phone records of millions of Verizon customers daily. Now understand, whatever movement you gonna do, or whatever thing you finna do where you finna pop off revolution, you French on the Bastille Day, or whatever you finna do, or you finna be the Black Panthers, whatever you finna do requires communication. It requires communication with each other, right? You're going to have to talk to each other. You're going to have to communicate your plans and everything to each other. What does it mean if the person that you're trying to circumvent is listening and has access to all your communications? Are you going to send messenger pigeons? Are the messenger pigeons, are they going to be involved in the revolution? I just want to know what you're talking about, because it's not making sense to me. So let's just read a little bit of what they say. You remember, this was Glenn Greenwald, Edward Snowden, the leaks, and all this stuff happened back then. And this is let's just back up a minute, be patient, and remember what happened. The National Security Agency is currently collecting the telephone records of millions of U.S. customers of Verizon, one of America's largest telecom providers, under a top secret court order issued in April. Now, mind you, this was during the Obama administration, so it's not. But remember what we learned back then. The order, a copy of which has been obtained by The Guardian, requires Verizon on an ongoing daily basis to give the NSA information on all telephone calls in its systems, both within the U.S. and between the U.S. and other countries. Let's go to the next quote, shall we? The document shows for the first time that under the Obama administration, the communication records of millions of U.S. citizens are being collected indiscriminately and in bulk, regardless of whether they are suspected of any wrongdoing. Think about that for a minute. Just let it hang on your spirit. The secret Foreign Intelligence Service Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court, granted the order to the FBI on April 25th, giving the government unlimited authority to obtain the data for a specified 3-month period ending on July 19th. Under the Bush administration, officials in security agencies had disclosed to reporters the large-scale collection of call records data by the NSA. But this is the first time significant and top secret documents have revealed the continuation of the practice on a massive scale under President Obama. Now, I'm going to continue to get into it, fam, but I just want to, one of the things that we have to do when people tell you about their proposed solutions, we have had all kinds of things in history, but timing is everything. We have to ask them, how are you going to get around that? They collecting all calls, calling all. They collect. How do you plan on getting around that? Or does it just make you feel good to kind of pound your chest? I ain't scared. Y'all scared. Is Guantanamo Bay still open? Is it? Do you think they won't send your little Negro butt over there? Do you think so? I'm just asking, because you have to be very critical of the solutions that you say you have. You say you have solutions. I want to know what you're going to do. I want to know what your plan is. Because we're in a different world. Everything is very sophisticated because there's a globalism and terrorism and all this stuff, and everything is very sophisticated now in terms of what they collect. And nothing ever happened with that. It never went away. They never stopped. So do you really believe what you say to me on YouTube, or what you say when you say, Yvette, I don't know, you want to work within the system. I don't think we can do that. I'm going to pop off. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And one of your legs shorter than the other one. Even if this was well back in the 1600s, what you going to do? Flat-footed? I see you. Y'all just, see, the problem is, Yvette is and when I talk about how sophisticated it is, I mean, again, we have to kind of go back. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you to, as any kind of leader